is your path to be. We're all here just for all the fun. Now you're jamming, jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Turn it, hype it up. Now you're jamming, jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Turn it, hype it up. Here you are, standing in one place, a road leading so far. It's your chance to be starting line. Come be what to be. You're yourself and not mine. That's the way it goes. So don't you rock it, don't you stop it, let our puppet visualize. You're a killer bee and you're so free. That's all I need. This is your path to be. We're all here just for all the fun. Now you're jamming, jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Turn it, hype it up. Now you're jamming, jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Turn it, hype it up.
What's up, everybody? We're back once again with some nostalgia viewing. I guess this is React content. What's up? It's Nate DeWalt himself. You remember this event, right, Nate? I was just about to ask if anyone knows the results of these matches before we get started, because I don't want any spoilers. There's a decent opportunity here. There's a decent chance, I guess, is a better word, that some people watching this might not know the ending. So let's not spoil it for them if we can. This is back when, as long as you had one health point, the game wasn't over yet, because defense was not that good at shutting you down. But for those that don't know, we've got Nathan DeWalt on the left playing Momo 1. I had like a really cool setup for like showing the cards off. I wonder if I can do that again. Give me 1 second. I spent all the time getting to the right spot in the video, and I forgot. Well, no, I don't know. This is MHA stuff. You guys can ultra this. I don't care that much. For retro stuff, I'll do it, but you know, MHA stuff, if you're brand new, it shouldn't be too hard to follow along. Also, I'm really hoping they pop the cards up here and you can read them on screen. I don't know if you can read this Momo. Yeah, Rozo. Anyways, Momo destroys a foundation, gets +2 or -2 speed. If you're a standard player, that's just Irwin Smith. However, instead of getting a wall counter and doing stuff with that, if you have a weapon, foundation, or asset in your card pool, you get to build it. So you can destroy a foundation and replace it, as long as you're playing weapon foundations, and it's any asset. Build any assets. Build one asset or weapon foundation. And then once per turn, Momo can remove a foundation and then add a weapon card from discard pile to hand. So one of the most broken characters ever printed, limited, of course, by keywords and the card pool available to them. The only reason this character did not go absolutely bonkers. Imagine building Massive Mutant Machine from your card pool. I mean, that'd be cooler than what we're doing with searching our deck. But on the flip side, we've got Jiro 1. Jiro 1 gets speed and damage for every card in the card pool, but speed only applies to weapon attacks. Damage only applies to charge attacks. And hopefully for Jiro, you're trying to play both, right? You're trying to get speed and damage. But we also have flash attacks. One of the only decks at the time playing flash attacks because of their charges, and then they get the damage pump. And if your rival relies on the enhanced step to reduce speed, that damage pump is going to feel pretty reliable. Jiro can also look at the top 2 cards of both players' decks and rearrange them, which is a really powerful ability. It's one of those abilities that can have absolutely zero impact on the game or decide the game on the spot. So let's jump into it here. I've got the game sped up just a little bit because I don't want to be here all night. And there's one extra round that I wasn't expecting. It's a short round. There's a short round, but Nate DeWalt with the classic build 3 going first. Checks an attack on the 4th card every time. But Ryan Levine here, able to play a 0 diff as the 4th card. Now, granted, the Jiro deck does play 2 checks. But committing Jiro on defense, not the biggest deal in the world. That once per turn is usable on both turns to stack the decks. But like we said, it's not always the biggest game decider. But Nate with a little bit of ramp action here. The bow staff adding a weapon foundation. We're going to get the Rising Starlet to build it in to get up to 4 foundations. So that's very, very good back then. Just any amount of ramp, any build 1 foundation is really sick. And then we've got new training method. New training method. When it's built, you get to respond, build 1 from your hand committed. We get the Command Pigeon Flock. We're playing some allies with our weapons. Command Pigeon Flock is playable while committed. So you can get a ally attack 2 momentum. Excuse me. While it's committed. But Electric Jolt, one of the all-stars of the format. Enhance, if it's completely blocked, it still deals 1 damage, so it's pretty much always going to momentum. Once it's in momentum, you can flip it to target commit a rival foundation. You can do that on both turns. Very, very strong ability. But Nate DeWalt with the answer, the Faith Shield response after this attack resolves, flip it, and It deals no damage. So no damage trigger, and then even if you wanted to add it to momentum, it's going to be face down. So absolutely shut down. That's one of the strongest turns Giros can have on turn 2 if they're not actually pressuring your life total, is to get Electric Jolt banked in momentum. Giro does absolutely disgusting things with just a single momentum. Absolutely incredible things with a single momentum back in the day. Anything from a ludicrously high powerful rating to tutoring the top 2 cards of your deck and drawing one of them. So, not to mention it unlocks readying foundations in the deck. Requesting assistance can allow you to ready a foundation. Not that we committed too many for cost, but we do see the Specialist of Sound down here, which is our commit -3 speed, so it's on play speed. Oh, this was a huge buff to the Giro deck. This was, oh man, I'm getting Vietnam flashbacks. Seizing the advantage, +2 speed to your next attack. Respond after you play an attack. You can build it face down, and you flip a rival foundation. So a target snipe, a ramp effect, and you get +2 speed. And for Giro, that's another card in the card pool. So we got the charge weapon I was talking about. So this got 2 speed and 2 damage because we had 2 cards in the card pool. That's right. Once it's played, it counts itself. So this is kind of exactly what you're looking for, except for the fact that Ryan checked a 3 here. I don't think he really wanted to check a 3. But on the flip side, I mean, one of those committed could easily be added to your momentum if you really wanted. However, he's choosing not to stuff the foundation. I find that a little interesting. It's a little telling, I guess, but the opportunity to find a sound waves throughout the turn, pretty powerful. So he also committed Destined for mainstream success and latent skill. So he's either got the world's greatest hand, or he's really not trying to spend resources this turn, which I could understand. But my thought process, I guess he might be committed. If he's committed to trying to go over deadly, no, he's just got like a goated hand, I guess. I mean, this is all pretty free so far. Yeah, I don't really miss this Giro deck either. I'll be real. Every time I played Giro, it was like accidentally a store championship and I won it. And it was usually just because someone was like, oh, Giro's not that bad. And I'm like, all right, bro, let me dust off the set 1 Giro deck. Add 4 cards to it. Looks like we had another face shield. Another Jolt getting flipped. Nate DeWalt untouchable. No build. So this is what I was talking about. I thought in my head, if we don't want to go shooting into deadlock, losing the foundation that was committed so you could build a different face up foundation. Even if it's a committed face, or even if it's like a ready face down, you know, bank the foundation, get access to the requesting assistance, you know, turn on potential hot draws from a blocked double jab. Because I don't know if Ryan Levine knew Nate DeWalt at the time, but if you knew Nate at the time, that double jab pummel was like giga blocked. Also, we had the sound waves in hand. What's happening, bro? I need a tinfoil hat. Hold on. We had this. Hold on, man. We were gonna deal that turn. It's worth noting. I think this was Ryan Levine's first ever Universes tournament. I'm like 99% sure it was the first time he ever topped one. And I believe 95% sure it was his first ever. I think I do the interview after this actually. Okay, so we had some basic trainings here. We got the Deadlock basic training. Yeah, it was his first event. That's what I thought. So we got 1 speed, 1 damage from basic training. Then we got 1 damage from Giro. Yeah, 6 weeks. Okay, so yeah. I know on the pre-game, because I listened to it before I went live. On the pre-game spiel, I guess, Nilmerg and Levi talk about how he's only been playing for like 6 weeks. So, you know, I guess take my back seating with a grain of salt. But part of, I got to what I got to do was it the reaction, the React Andy disclaimer. We do this not to laugh at people, but to learn from things, right? And then they go on to like laugh and like you ever see those food videos where they're like, we do this to learn skills in the kitchen and see what we can do better, and then it immediately cuts to like the montage at the beginning of the video where they go, oh my god, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Who taught you to cook? So corny. I'm not trying to do that. But I do think that we could have had a really nice board state. And one of the things I was going to mention was if we're not losing foundations to get momentum, then I was expecting to see like a release being built. And we get the release the turn after as we go into deadlock. Nate did block with a quick creation, so he finally took 1 point of damage from the attack that always deals damage. That was the third one played. And then we immediately get the instant Shining Flash to dunk the momentum. Savage play. Now, I got to count Ryan's stage here because we got the release to get out of deadlock. But one of the strongest things Momo has in her kit is she has quick creations deadlock enhance, which is, I believe it's speed and damage, which makes it better than plus ultra. But it's like first E commit, double this weapon attack speed and or damage. Nate will tell me in the chat, but I think it's both. And the first E restriction is a little tough to deal with, but it's not hard at all. It's both, yeah. So, you just can play like a casual 8 mid 8 to start things off in this format. So you'll end up releasing stuff really, really quick just to avoid that deadlock. And Momo has the ability to summon this card. So Momo can once per turn add that card to her hand, play it into the card pool, then build it. So anytime you get low on health and you are in deadlock, I mean, we saw kind of the same thing with a Hanji deadlock, right? At the EU regional, it was like plus a gajillion speed. Oh, here's our third attack of the turn. Nate smells blood. He's been checking real good. We've got the back alley haymaker coming in here, committing 2 on it, but we'll almost certainly get to build ourselves a 0 diff. Oh no, it looks like he chose to draw. Draw multiple cards. EX, get that speed back. So Specialist of Sound, -3 speed. Momo +2, EX +2. We got the Bakugo 1/6 -3 speed. Meta relevant. Dude, Ryan. Oh no, this is a turn later. I was gonna say Ryan's hand was all attacks, but this is a whole turn later. We had a poke build after that. Both players playing, and this is, guys, I'm gonna say this every time we watch old stuff. If there's a release in play, like, it does so much work. It's Momo's enhance, and Momo can play it on top. Like, Momo can do both. She can turbo away her stage to stay alive. But, like, you can see, like, Ryan's having no issues keeping up with Momo's speed pump and EX moves to block attacks because of release. Because air also gets, like, weirdly good speed hit, but release is, like, top of the mountain. Ryan has 1 card left. He's going to cycle here. The Jiro decks at this, oh my god, are these 50 card decks? Oh my god, we were really cycling 10 with 50 card decks. Yo, low key, can we go back to 50 card decks now that they're printing like real mill cards? I think this was like one of the last bastions of 50 card decks. This might have been like the last year. Oh my god, the sound wave's gone. Nate looking for that information. Dude. 66? Yeah, that doesn't tell me what the minimum was, Nate. These might have been 60. This might have been right when it started, though. This could have been the first regional with it. I don't have a great memory for little stuff like that. It was 50. That's what I thought, because I think Ojiro got kneecapped before it was 60. Then they changed it to 60 when people were like, you don't have to errata Ojiro. You could just make it a 60 card minimum, and then the hyper aggro decks that play every card draw card and every punch and every attack draws a card, like, might actually suffer a little bit on consistency. It was so natural for me. Like, I remember being annoyed at 60 card decks for like the first until like the next release, because I was just like, dude, there's no other good cards. I was already struggling to put 50 cards in my deck unless I was like the life symbol. You know? If you were air symbol, bro, it was like, God, please give me a 50th card to fucking put in here. I'm already playing 4 latent skill and 4 specialists of sound. I guess I'll play the 4th release, dude, with my 2-check. Fuck. That shit was, I got 12 zeros. What do you want me to do? Oh, this is a pretty interesting string here. Jolt into flash attack into home run. I think we have 1 momentum. It's hard to see off the corner. I'm pretty sure we did. I don't think we got a momentum from home run. I think he should be using at this point, he should be using home run to debuild himself and then spend the momentum to have cards in his discard pile. Because look at the stack, dude. Nate's about to cycle as well, but his stack is huge. He's going to have like twice as many cards after this. Because Nate's been sacrificing with Momo Enhance as we go. He's been drawing, I think, a little bit more. Despite being, despite Air Symbol having plenty of card draw. Like, Ryan hasn't activated latent skill this whole time, right? He hasn't seen a hand where he feels like just a little extension will get him there. Or, like, there's no one card he could draw to like get him out of this, right? But here comes the quick creation. Quick creation. We're gonna add Rising Starlet. Nathan DeWalt completely trolling here, not using the deadlock. Insane. Unless you play drip kicks immediately after this. If you play electromagnetic stomp, I'll shut the fuck up. If you ready this asset, I'll take it back. That is technically possible. We could play the drip kicks. Rising Starlet back to full health. He said he wants the perfect. Imagine getting a perfect timeout victory. Mill him out with full health. Technically untouchable. The best kind of untouchable. Taking 7 from the back alley. Recognizing that would be a few too many resources. Command Pigeon Flock coming in. This is another attack that builds a foundation. It's not the drip kicks. Not sure. Oh, is he not? Maybe he's not in deadlock anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. He has his committed foundations splitting his ready foundations. I thought for sure we read 11, but I guess release got us immediately out of deadlock. Now he's down to 9, so I take it back. Take it back. We were not in deadlock. But at this point, now there's a quick creation in play. You really can't build to deadlock even for like 1 attack. Maybe you can with the specialist and the release. You can, because you'd have to do it on the first attack if you only go to 11. Still seems kind of risky just to allow Nate to have an 8 mid opener that is going to get more speed pump. But this is just the grindy game that Momo has. Momo's going to present to you a fast, obnoxious poke that doesn't have to deal damage to be useful. Right? Command Pigeon Flock builds you an ally foundation that gets you a momentum, and potentially gives bonus speed, amongst others. There's a couple others, amongst one that adds a foundation to your hand, right? So Command Pigeon Flock can be, add 2 foundations to your repertoire. Back Alley Haymaker can build you a 0 or draw you a card. Bow Staff adds a card to your hand or to your card pool for you to build immediately. And then all these attacks can become obnoxiously fast. So if you block them, you are vulnerable. And if you take the damage, well, you took the damage and you're at 12 while Nate's at 26. And if you're somehow able to block it and not be vulnerable, well, that's cool. He ramped 2 cards, he got 2 cards of advantage in some form or another. And we see exactly how this deck began to win after the DLC came out, which is Cannon Blast. Cannon Blast, the first one, gets handled rather easily, but we had a second one to invest a bunch of resources in. Jiro scoping out the checks to figure out exactly what we need to block, but we did not Specialist of Soundness. We are going to raw block these. These are not getting fully pumped. So these Cannon Blasts could be having 3 foundations committed to have 3 extra speed put on there. But Nate knows that he doesn't have to risk it. The only way Nate loses is by committing his whole stage and Ryan still being able to block, which again, with that release in play and the knowledge that you're going to check a 5, which is basically a 7, it gets pretty tough. Even if Momo has a 9 speed move, if your rival checks a 7, on blocking a 9, that's not the hardest block in the world. This is looking more and more like Nate is gonna mill him. I didn't think that was true, especially not for game 1. I thought Cannon Blast was actually the win condition. So I'm excited to see now if there's another Cannon Blast turn. But just raw dogging 2 Cannon Blasts with no enhances on it is kind of wild. I feel like if we had like a back alley to start that off, just get a little extra pressure in. Although the back alley gets -3'd by double Arrogant now. I don't know, stun 4 is pretty solid. Even if he blocks on a 0, you got 4 commits out of it. Jolt blocked with the +4 mid deals 1. That +4 mid can now be built as well. Momo, one of the few characters that actually blocked with that card pretty often. See, bow stack's getting pretty low now, though. There's -2 speed on the mid, so double jab pummel when it gets blocked, you get to draw 2 and then discard 2. It's kind of like a little latent skill on block. Looks like we finally popped the latent skill too, so we're actually gonna really dig here. We're gonna, once you cycle once you've lost some of your best attacks, you kind of want to power through your deck. You kind of want to try to draw as much as you can, in my opinion, because you really want to get those attacks into your hand before you cycle them again. Before you lose them. And see here, we got, I think he cycled all 4 specialized sound waves, dude. Oh man, I don't know if I think Zero is very fine in this matchup because of specialized sound waves at the time, right? I think sound waves is actually low-key the win condition. Nate DeWalt can correct me if I'm wrong at all on that, because he knows what Momo is quote-unquote scared of there. But I've always felt like all the other attacks are just kind of there to get Momo to commit resources, and then, once there's like a card in the card pool finally, because a lot of those blocks don't stick in the card pool. But that's traditionally stuff that, yeah, sound waves into home run. Yeah, exactly. I feel like all the other attacks are kind of there, just kind of to water you down. And then sound waves actually deals enough damage to chip you down, and it stacks the check so you can play a home run that's actually fast enough. And again, the home run, like late string home run, You get +1 to the powerful rating for basically each attack in the card pool. Once again, it counts itself. So you're realistically, you're trying to get this to like +5, right? You're trying to get 5 cards. You're trying to make it the 5th card you play at minimum. Then it's +5 speed, +5 damage, +5 powerful rating. Fuels itself, give you a momentum. Basically +10 damage. 14 damage at the time, man. That was primo shit. And you did it after you played a 6 and a 7 damage flash attack. Yeah. You know, you were really trying to play 2 moves that have to get blocked, and they have to put just enough pressure on Jiro. Sorry, just enough pressure on Momo. Here we go. We got the foundations built because this counts every card in the card pool for Jiro. So he is getting the maximum stats he can get here. He's got 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. +7, +7. Nate's going to reduce the speed down. He's going to get what I believe is a release. We're going to commit. We're going to block it. Yeah, and Ryan's going to scoop it up. The rare scoop in universes, actually. I don't think we had time limits yet either, so this was untimed. Ryan just knew that he lost every relevant attack after that point. He was going to cycle again. If he even had cards left in his deck, they were not going to be enough attacks and checks. Yeah, he would have milled out. So, recognizing that rather than letting Nate DeWalt play at his leisure. Yeah, I think he was going to actually mill, right? Like, he was actually... Yeah, look at his stacks. He might have been able to draw another hand, but he would not be able to pass the checks. So, Nate takes game 1. So the game plan for Jiro has to be land some substantial charge weapon attacks early, bank a jolt. Basically, Jiro's game plan is don't let Nate have face shield every fucking time like game 1. Land a jolt early, get the momentum early, get a solid sound waves in for just like some poke and an extra build because it replaces itself. And it's just difficult to block. You know, maybe that's the move that gets blocked and Momo commits out because they didn't get to reduce the speed. And then you can get a home run poke. You know, a lot of the success I had with Jiro was just playing 1 attack, 2 attack, usually like a double jab, like jolt, double jab, home run. That wouldn't be that threatening. That probably wouldn't be threatening enough against Momo. But it would be good hand fixing, I guess. But if you can actually get Momo to commit some cards on one of the blocks from an earlier attack, then you can land a poke home run, which is good for like 7-ish damage, 7 or 8 damage. That's a substantial amount at the time. You know, get Momo down into like 15, 18 range, and then have more than 1 momentum. So you can sound waves, and you can spend that momentum on powerfuls once you find an opening. Spend it on EX for Jolt is also not a terrible idea. I've seen it once, I believe, and I've done it once, at least once as Denki. So I think the only time I've taken a game off Momo, I've never won the matchup, I don't think. I can't remember ever winning the Momo matchup as Denki, but the game I took, I spent 3 momentum on EX and it was 9 speed. And they still could have blocked it if they checked a 5, so, you know. It's one of those. But it looks like we're going to get a double build instead. Double latent skill. We're definitely going to spin the wheel next turn, I have to assume. Jiro really does have some, like, fantastic combo style hands. So I really don't blame Ryan for, like, kind of sculpting here. Like, over sculpting, you might say. Not being obsessed with poking and taking risk turn 2. However, poke turns are how, and with the electric jolt specifically, are typically how you're going to be able to solve specific foundations in the Momo stage, you know, because the releases just add up, and like sacrificing 2 foundations permanently, the block and attack sounds pretty bad. But when you've got cards like Passing the Torch and New Training Method and Wild Wild Pussycats, and you don't have to attack next turn, you can just build a foundation, and you added 3 foundations to your hand. You know, it's not that difficult to rebuild. You know, you're rebuilding when you sack one of them, right? We've got the Rising Starlit block coming in here, or at least we've added one to our hand. So +2 high block. If we play it, if the rival plays another attack, we'll stay even. Looks like there's also a face shield in hand already. This was just not Ryan Levine's game. Takes the home run. Interesting. Recognizing home run's not the leadoff home run is not the threat. So that's a little bit of a tip that Nate probably only has 1 high block, right? If you know he's got a high block, but he's not going to use it, it's probably that he's only got the 1. And he is wise to save it for a move that does more damage. Double jab pummel, not one you necessarily want to block. Let the rival draw 2 and discard 2. Sorry, I looked down. Oh, we had -2 damage on that one. Okay, neat. Neat. We had -2 damage. But we had to add a card to the card pool to do so. Faith shielding the sound waves, recognizing that there probably wasn't going to be a jolt this late in the turn, not wanting to take any more damage, but saving the high block and also getting rid of 1 charge attack in the card pool for the potential powerful rating anyways. A lot of damage though. So this was the other way, right? This is the kind of turn you probably wanted to see turn 2. But seeing it turn 3 is not bad either. Nate taking a lot of damage there, being put to single digits. There's a little bit of healing this deck can do. There's Rising Starlit. Whenever you build it, you get to heal 1. There is potentially a 0 diff Recovery Girl's Kiss. I know a handful of people were playing like 1 or 2 copies alongside Back Alley. I don't think they played that. It always seemed pretty low impact to me. We got another Back Alley Haymaker coming in here. Stunning everything down. Building the 0. Will we go for the bonus damage? We have a lot of committed foundations, but we also have a lot of releases. So all those committed foundations are actually still 2 cards you can use to block with if you want to think about it that way. So not a super scary position for Nate as long as Nate has the correct block zones and the correct number of blocks. Because it's not hard for Jiro to put down 5 or 6 attacks. We haven't seen it yet. But now we have momentum. And we've got a 6 check that we know is in the discard pile. One of the most frustrating things about playing Specialized Sound Waves was when it was so early in the game that you did not have a 6 check in your discard pile. I think that's one of the hidden benefits. I won't say it's a main reason. One of the hidden benefits to playing Latent Skill in a deck like this was it just kind of curbed 1 or 2 times where you'd end up with the card you want, you know, in your discard pile in your hand. Like you don't even want to draw it. Same thing with the release. I've definitely released on my own attack to destroy my committed 6 check so I could add it back to the top of my deck. I've for sure done that. Got Face Shield coming out on the Jolt. You love to see it. But now an amplified Sound Blast wearing double basic training. 4 low for 8. And this is the power of the flash attacks against Momo. Having to block against the raw speed. No releases available. Checking a 3 on a 7. Decimating, in air quotes, the stage. But between oh, Nate going for the minus. Okay, there we go. All right, we weren't really minusing damage. You're just trying to stay resource neutral. Ooh, with a breaker block, gonna fight back. Double jab pummels combo gives you +2 to the check. Play your next card. We got -1. It's gonna leave us with a +1 total. Committing the requesting assistance. No, we have the momentum. Oh no, Ryan Levine with a rookie mistake here at the crucial moment, opting to keep Specialist of Sound ready when that card means nada, zilch. Makes me think that we're guaranteed to pass our next check in some fashion. And then that's it. That's going to be our last card that we were planning to play of the game. Put it all on the line, all or nothing. Nate with, like, effectively destroy 3 for -6 speed, though. So, definitely playing like a little bit of a zone check angle, but it would have to be a flash attack, right? Oh, no. There's a die on Momo. I guess he might have used the once per turn, but nope, absolutely no follow up there, even with the +2 to the check. Devastating stuff. I think Nate's actually at 9. I could be wrong. Does it go out from the middle? I thought it was like, yeah, it should be the 9 is. He should be at 9 health. They put 6 on the on the broadcast screen. All right, we got the double rising starlet play. You're at 6, really? Oh, am I tripping? Oh, it does. Why does it go? Oh, it goes one direction. That's so weird to me. I thought this was the bottom here, so it would like face the player, but it faces the owner. That's so trippy. That was way closer than I thought then. I thought for sure it's like for each player. Okay, whatever. I use the other life calculator. I use the other. I use the marble looking one. Or I used to. I think I actually switched over to My Hero Calc at Atlanta. Yeah, I started using My Hero Calc at Atlanta, I guess. Yeah, it does just face one person. That's weird. I guess in Atlanta, everyone I played against brought out their own phone to do life counting as well. Like we both did it. I just never noticed. That's crazy. That's so funny. Well, we got the double rising starlet play. So we added a little bit of difficulty up front. But then we got to build 2 foundations. We got a quick create for 2 other weapon foundations. Or no, we quick create. Gonna build the rising starlet. Build the rising starlet. Use the rising starlet to build another one. Absolutely psychotic gameplay and build an ally, dude. How many we built what, 5 foundations this turn? Put him down to 3, no high block. Or no, he's got the release. Oh, but he was committed out. Yeah, he got super stunned out. Yeah. I guess if he never had a follow-up, it didn't matter what he committed there. But this is like a 6 high. Ran out of big dice, had to use the little dice. Nate the Walt 2-0. You should have lost this game. Are you saying you cheated, Nate? Are you saying you're a fibber? How were you supposed to lose? What do you mean you were supposed to lose? You're God's gift to Momo Gaming. You're fucking him, bro. What do you mean? Hey, look, there's Nate. I like that you guys are the same height sitting down. Everybody else is like so much taller than Nil. Like even Levi looks like pretty tall sitting next to Nil. But I think Levi was like cheating. I think he was sitting on a pillow. You're gonna play the bow staff, but you check bad and then blocked with it. Oh, and then you wouldn't have had a low block for the flash. I don't know, man. It sounds like you made a contextual read and made the right call. It sounds like you were good enough to not play the bow staff after you checked bad. You know? Who knows? Maybe you play the bow staff, he blocks with the sound blast, and then he doesn't have the flash attack. Who can say? Who can say? All right, we're not listening to the interviews anyway, so. Hey, there's Ryan Levine. Hey, they're the same height sing down too. That's kind of cool. This was Ryan's first. I remember this interview because they used to tell me, like, you can't mention other card games. You know, don't say Magic the Gathering, you know, all that stuff. And then Ryan was like, yeah, so I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And it was like, well, what are we, you know, how are we not going to mention it when people come over from other games, right? So very, very funny stuff. But this is the first time I remember someone mentioned another card game by name in an interview. And it was also just not a big deal. No one made a fuss. Me and Nilmerg. Insane height difference. Oh, you don't want to stick around, Nate? Dude, Nate, you're gonna miss the finals, bro. I, I for those who don't know, fourth kind, his fourth card that he plays gets -4 difficulty, and if it's an attack, it gets +4 damage. So you're gonna see him play an attack, and then play 2 foundations, and then play another attack a lot, which was kind of a mildly interesting gameplay pattern. There wasn't really a lot you could do with it. I tried to make like action cards work with him, but his main ability is once per game. If your rival has 6 or more foundations, so they stun 4 of them, which is kind of insane if the game is, you know, not going super late. And we now see him play and, of course, check the best card with committed foundations, which is Indiscriminate Shock. This will get +1 damage for each of the rivals' committed foundations. But if you remember last time, I think we had Ochako 2 on the screen. Ochako 2 can commit herself for -3 speed to any attack. Now we see Electric Jolt come in, and this was on a 3 because it was -4 difficulty, so basically a 0 diff. And then it gets +4 damage because it's an attack. And we're going to take the 8, which is absolutely insane here. 3 mid for 8. If it's completely blocked, it still deals 1. So fourth kind dealing big damage there. But now Ochako 2, who if Ochako deals damage, gets to loop an attack back to her handing it +2 to her next check. Stun Grenade is going to try to mill us another attack here. Looks like we committed the Tight-Lipped with Jolt. Or was... Or no, we probably committed the Agitation with Jolt. And that was probably a Desperate Time style activation. Ochako 2 also gives all of her moves +2 speed. Ooh, a setup strike. Interesting. That would have been really powerful next turn. That attack gives your next attack +3 speed, which is super good for fourth kind's, you know, +4 damage move. But you can also spend a momentum to give it +3 speed. It's not EX3 because you can only spend 1 momentum one time. But you also see Go for the win here. Destroy a foundation. We had less than our 5 hand size rivals, so we got to build 2. So turning 1 committed into 2 ready is really strong, especially since we had to immediately commit them. The Nitro Ignition comes down. We're going to play another Stun Grenade. Stun Grenade's going to find us a turn to dust. We've got the tight-lipped flipping the last foundation for +1. We're going to bounce the stun grenade, get a momentum from the ignition. We're going to check a 5-6, commit our last foundation. Mill, get another ignition. We're going to powerful for +2 damage. We're going to remove the ignition to give this attack powerful too, but mostly just to get rid of the progressive difficulty. We have no more check bonuses, so we're going to have to build now, but Spooky's a good one. Although, if you have to commit Ochako, Spooky's not that big a deal. I was going to say Spooky is really nice in this deck because a lot of attacks get sent at you for like 3 or 4 speed. You can Ochako them down to 0 or 1, and then you can flip the speed and damage, so your opponent would need a card like Setup Strike to try and counteract that game plan. But even then, a 4 high for 10 or 12, which is like, you know, this is what the fourth kind deck does, is it stuns you out, and then it plays like a 3 speed move for like insane damage, and it just hopes that you don't pass the check because you're committed out, you know. It hopes that you had to block something before this, so you've got cards in your card pool. And now we see Vile Seizing coming in. A little bit of pressure here. Got the bonus damage, got the card draw. Have to commit our last foundation, but -4 difficulty on the next card. And fourth kind doesn't need to be ready unless you need the once per game. So fourth kind can commit himself and you still get the damage bonus. I think he has to be ready when you attempt to play the card, though. I could be tripping. No, it's not, because he goes first, right? It's been so long. I don't think he has a... Yeah, it doesn't say ready at all. Never mind, yeah. So full Cowling Strike, discard your hand, draw 3 cards. Very good ability for a 5-hander that has 1 card left in his hand. And if it's not blocked, you commit your rival's character, which means it can also be kind of an opening attack. I've definitely played this deck, and I've definitely opened One for All, discarded 4 foundations to try and draw 3 cards, and it's like, yeah, I went down a card, but if I draw 1 more attack, like, we're in business, you know? So pretty rough stuff, getting the exact block we needed, exactly with the style of play that we were talking about, right? No speed pump from fourth kind, a 4-speed move, getting reduced, getting blocked, easy stuff. Didn't even, you know, sometimes you don't even need the Ochako commit because, like, My Hero offenses were all about exhausting your hand for the most part and or stunning you out. You know, good decks usually did both. But the Impact Cyclone dealing its raw damage, going to get bounced back to hand. Maybe a little tip off that our hand is freezing cold because we're not even going to get the... We did get a stun grenade down, though. Did we play stun grenade twice, or did we opened Cyclone, right? Am I tripping? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the raw Cyclone gets bounced and we play stun grenade, which means we probably drew it off the Cyclone. Stun grenade's going to try to fish us another attack. Oh, get the Grimace. Hulking Grimace, baby. Oh my goodness. We already used our +2 to our check, though. So playing the Impact Cyclone makes sense. Getting an additional momentum. Being able to destroy a foundation to draw more cards. Putting big, powerful damage down. And the +2 speed. Fourth kind is committed out. Can't pass the check. Game 1-2 Ochako. So that looked pretty scary on the first turn. Ochako took a ton of damage. No block on either of the attacks that got played. Was a little surprising to me. But it paid off in the end because they were able to play better defense on turn 3 for the turn 3 aggression and weather the storm. And essentially, you know, all those foundations that fourth kind committed, which he's not used to. You know, fourth kind players are pretty much used to only having risk on one check they make in a turn, and it's usually that first one. But because we played 2 attacks, and then the passing the torch, and then another attack, we ended up committing most of our stage. So the balance of being a 5-hander, not getting a good build, is supposed to be that you get a free card, but you have to follow the play pattern of attack, foundation, foundation, attack, or even just 3 foundations. and then an attack, and then it's basically no risk at all. So these guys are going to pile shuffle. The shuffling is going to take longer than the gameplay did. There we go. All right. Only a build 3. Pretty rough for fourth kind because he got to play a lot of greedy 3 divs, you know, because you get to play it on a 3, unlike other decks. So if you drew 2 of them in your opening hand, it's usually not a big deal. It's really greedy with 2 diffs too. Passing the torch, one of the best passing the torch users of all time. You know, you're pretty much encouraged to play 4 cards every turn, you know, because you get a free one. And then that would leave you with 1 card only. Well, why not just build that last card and then draw 2? You go up a card. You know, you block 1 attack and then you get to draw 2. Trying to figure things out here. I think this is a sliding tackle. This is a card that has a, I think it's if you block a high attack with it, because you slide under it, you take no damage. And then it should have like a combo. Yeah, after you block a high attack, you take no damage, and then it combos for just +2 speed. So high attacks were pretty gnarly at the time. Maybe the deck was just low on high blocks in general, you know? But that was always one of the funnier inclusions. I remember seeing that card and thinking, like, man, I don't know if I'd play it, you know? Because there's still, like, nasty lows, but they are fewer and far between than the high attacks. Hulking Grimace. We got to commit 1 for this? Oh, no, we had the league invite. We had the league invitation, so we just checked the 6 on this bad boy. 7 mid for 10. It's not even a third of your life total. You'll be fine. Just take it. Flipping for more speed. But the plus ultra block. Heyo. Plus ultra too fast for the seal effect on Grimace. Easy block on a, oh, I guess we checked a 3, so maybe not easy block on a 5, but way better than trying to block on like a 10 plus. Absolutely huge to have the plus ultra there. Nitro Ignition though, 7 high for 4. This is the one you take in my opinion. You know, I got to watch this deck at the time, and yeah, I just remember thinking, I am never afraid of you replaying this against me until it's actually lethal, you know? If this is the one where you bounce it and you get +2 to play another Grimace, like, so be it, man. You know, yeah, you get +2 to play another move, like, cool. But the Ignition is the fastest move for the lowest damage. It's the one that is going to leave the card pool anyways, right? Got an Impact Cyclone off of that bad boy. Okay, +1 high with the breaker. Wait, where did the Vile Season go? Oh, sorry, fourth kind has another ability. Fourth kind says after you block with an attack card, you can commit him and add it back to your hand. I forgot he did that. Yeah, so we should get to recycle that block. Absolutely sick. Great defense, dude. Huge difference. See? Absolutely huge difference. Perfect defense, one might say. The breaker block putting a shutdown. We got shock treatment. Oh my god, dude. Shock treatment, spend a momentum. Target, commit a rival foundation. Ooh, showdown though on the partial block. Committing both passing the torches. That's pretty scary, but a second electric jolt. Let's go. Dude, learning the standards must feel so bad in this matchup. Fourth kind doesn't do like any building. He doesn't do like any ramping like that. And he's gonna play a foundation after every attack 90% of the time. If they play 3 attacks in a row, you can hit the learn the standards to ruin the 4th card. Is a pretty rare occurrence. Hey, what's up, Zach? You missed out on Momo versus Jiro. Oh, I should have played Foo Fighters. There goes my Jiro during Ryan's last turn when he was getting milled out. Ryan milled out game 1 against Momo. So we're now watching Ochako up a game. Checked insanely well game 1. Not checking so good game 2. Ty's got double jolt banked. Both players playing very solid defense, though, keeping their health totals high as 5-handers. We're seeing this pesky nitro ignition be too fast to block. Gonna get the go for the win. Yeah, dude, I feel so bad. I mentioned it to someone at the time, too. I promise at some point during this top cut, I said something and it just like didn't get fixed. I promise I mentioned it. And I think I think he really meant to like do it. You know, I forget who was doing the production at the time, but I think they really meant to do it and they just didn't like get around to it, or they got bombarded by other stuff. This is how you can tell it was like verbal too. Like the person in charge of the production, like they didn't have a list of the players' names, they didn't have a bracket. They just went, "Hey, who's that?" And someone went, "Christos Panos," you know, and they just didn't hear it right. What check hack less fail and tack? It is the set 2 one, I believe. We commit to here. When did we fail? Was it before this? We're getting our stage jolted away. Takes that. It was before the impact. Oh, it's before the impact. Then it's the stain one, right? Gotta be like right here. Yeah. Wait. No, it's not the stain one. It's Bonza. How far back do I gotta go? Yeah, it's okay. It's all the way back here. Um, I believe it's this 2 diff is -1 damage. If you take damage, your rival's next check, it's -2. If it fails, their combat phase doesn't end. It was played a long time ago, though, even with the sped up thing here. What's it called? Challenging the Fakes. This was a very popular 4th kind card. Yeah, -1 damage. If it deals, -2 to your next check. If it fails, you can continue your turn. But if you did Challenging the Fakes and -3 damage from another effect, it shouldn't have dealt damage, right? Oh, if it's not blocked, it doesn't have to deal. I had to reread it. It's if it's not blocked. That's even better, dude. No wonder that card got played. And yeah, it's check the play and attack. Pretty crazy stuff. Pretty, mildly complex board state. Yeah. It's pretty weird stuff. And then we like immediately went into the block step of the impact cyclone. He whiffs on the stun grenade. Completely different game from game 1 so far. Like actually total reversal. It's +2 to his next check. Responds ignition. Now we're going to remove the ignition because we can't clear a card pull anymore. We now have, I believe, 2 momentum. We have no more check bonus. If we really wanted to, if we were really spiteful here, we could destroy shock treatment to commit league invitation. But it's probably better just to have shock treatment to use the enhance on your turn while you still have 2 momentum. We're going to take damage down. Okay, we checked another attack. Was that Touch of Decay? Dude, this deck had every Fury attack in it. And we tried to play them all too. So that looked like a pretty rough turn, but I mean, we dealt 14 damage. So it couldn't have been that bad. Ty's got double passing the torch here. And we're starting with a full cowling. So we got the shock treatment commit. We're going to get the -3 here because if we don't block this attack, we're not going to get the -3 anyways. We don't block this attack, so we're going to take 6. I did not dump his hand or draw additional cards, though. So he's got to feel confident in this hand. Indiscriminate would be for 14 damage here, not quite enough. Here's a Jolt for free. Looks like we were one really impactful attack away from ending the game, but it could still happen here. Could definitely still happen. I feel like I would be trying to draw for one more attack on this. The speed pump from Ochako adds up. The 4th kind deck does not block that well. The damage reduction is not that potent anymore either. So if the attack deals damage, Ochako can fight back against the challenging the fakes, which you typically want to see pretty early in a turn. Yeah. You want to do it on the on the second attack, I think is typically the most optimal. Just because even like a 3 diff, you know, can't sneak under it. Want the 2 progressive with the check hack. Got more Jolt action coming in. Now we're destroying the shock. To hate some more down. And we're going to pass back after 1 card played? What? Did we have only attacks in our hand? Yo, if Christos had only attacks. No, because then he could just fail one. And he could just keep playing through the challenging the fakes. We already did that. What happened, bro? We played 1 card? Low block, low block, low block, low block. Holy shit-a-moly. I guess you're trying to bluff that you have the right zones? But, like, that's never going to stop a 4th kind player from playing an attack? Oh, my goodness. Well, we were not going to get killed by indiscriminate chalk. So that's for sure. All right. Little 5-hander slap fest. Got the sideboard going back into going first. Okay. So we sideboarded for the matchup. And for going second. Now we're sideboarding back for going first. Big shuffles. Big mulligans. Oh, the super cut. He said I'm stacking the 2 directly on top. But I don't have 2s in my deck. I said what I said. Dude, triple tight lipped? Yo. Christos Panos' ship is not sinking anytime soon. We got the stun grenade. Hits the stun one. Mills a turn to dust. I think we've seen this turn to dust added to hand twice, and it's never been played. Now is like the perfect turn to play it. Early game when you can leverage the you destroying a face down to try and make your rival destroy stuff or burn for 4. Which granted, fourth kind should be okay. He should feel fine with destroying a foundation or 2. But we've already seen how Ty's been getting jammed up by bad checks early on in a turn, and how it's impacting his ability to play any kind of defense. Oh my god, he checked a 6 on that? Holy moly. Oh my goodness, gonna get himself some free damage, +2 to the check. Checks a 7 on the second one. Combo to get some more momentum. Show it to me. Gonna draw me some more cards. Gonna get me some more damage with the campfire strategies between 2 graham crackers, but the plus ultra halves the damage, stops the bleeding a little bit. Checks a 5. That was like what, 7 high for 12? Okay, save 6 damage, feels pretty good. That's like completely blocking a normal attack in this format. That's like completely blocking like an average 5 div. But man, drawing those cards was better than playing the turn to dust. I don't know if we'll ever see the turn to dust get played. We've got the first day of classes down. So we can definitely get some pretty weird turns. First day of class can give you +2 to your check and then ready itself. Just kind of gnarly. A double jolt turn. Christos is blocking these to save the health points, and I like that. Every little tiny bit helps. These mid blocks are probably not going to block anything else too threatening anyways. Even goes for the partial block to save, 2 health versus not blocking. Cards were almost certainly not going to do anything impressive, and that's it. The 5-handers holding on to cards. Last time it was Christos with 4 low blocks. That did not come into play at all. Here's the turn to dust. Okay. Have I done this spiel? I'm so sorry for anybody out there who has never heard this before. I don't know if I actually made the video on it. It was probably going to rotate by the time it really bugged me. Turn to dust. There is in my opinion, correct way to do the sequencing on this card. Let me bring this up. So, or actually, let me show here really quick. All right, Ty has 4 ready foundations, right? 4 foundations. And they're all ready. So, on turn to dust, you have 2 enhances. Well, technically you have 4, actually. But stun 2. Then you have enhanced destroy one of your foundations. Destroy 1 foundation committed due to this attack's stun ability. Your rival may lose 2 to cancel this. And that has enhanced lose 2. Your rival loses 2. Your rival may destroy 1 to cancel this ability. So, if you're trying to kill your opponent and you really want to punish them on the D build, before you do the stun 2, you should do the lose 2 health to make your rival lose 2 health. They'll almost never, ever, ever destroy a ready foundation to cancel that. And if they do, then when you stun 2, they only have 1 ready foundation instead of 2. And in this specific instance, the stun 2 would have hit a face-up foundation. So now instead, what's going to end up happening is if the health matters, Ty might not cancel this. He might just lose the 2 anyways because of where we're at in the game and stuff like that. But if you're trying to win the game, if you're trying to deal lethal damage, that's the correct sequencing, because now Ty can potentially just destroy a committed foundation, which won't affect him in any way. Well, I guess he has the requestings, but still, he shouldn't, they shouldn't really affect him in any way to destroy that. And also, the top ability to destroy one, you have to play after the stun, obviously. But you're most likely going to get your rival to burn 4 by doing it that way. I feel like if we went back in time, I would play a lot more Turn to Dust. I think set 2 before set 3, Turn to Dust, was actually probably cooking really hard. I think Fire Turn to Dust was also probably cooking at one point. Because Fire had what's the card called? Frozen? I think the card's just called Frozen, right? Which is ironic for a Fire card, but it's Todoroki. Yeah, destroy a foundation, rival commits one. Yeah. Yeah. Back before we added the phrase stunned to the rulebook. Yeah, so we end up blocking this one, committing all the way out. The requesting assistance don't really get to help us out too much here. We took that damage really quick. I know it's sped up, but what was the attack? This is ignition. Unblockably fast, just gonna get the +2 to our check. To play the Grimace, commit completely out, exactly enough foundations, exactly enough resources, doesn't even need the +2 speed, because Ty is committed out, and the Grimace deals all 10 of that damage. Look at how humid it is. Look at how nasty my hair looks. Look at how bad it is there. That's the quickest game in the top cut for sure, too. 2 5-handers slapping it out. Shout outs to Ty's House of Cards. I don't know. He uploaded fairly recently, actually, I think, with something. But I know it became a little more infrequent as time went on. He blew up in the beginning, though, with the how to play. He was doing us a bunch of gameplay videos. Very cool stuff. Oh, he was doing Riftbound. That's what it was. I saw him ripping some Riftbound. Yeah. He's been doing some other stuff. He's been getting back into the game. There was the Ninja Turtle stuff. Yeah. They'll do like an upload like for every single product that comes out. Some Gundam stuff. That's cool. That's cool. I wonder, I feel like I don't see his, I'm subscribed. Do I not get I got the notifications on. Does he, I feel like he just, maybe only posts like one place. I feel like I don't see his uploads that much. But he's uploading like every other month or so. Every trailer, every stuff. No one's getting back into the game after today's drama. I mean, I'm not gonna do the is it really that bad deal, because I think it is like pretty bad, but I have to be on the side of like, let them at least attempt to address it before like grabbing a pitchfork. Like, it's really bad. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's not really bad. But I feel like it's fixable. And there's a big difference to me between this is really bad and there's nothing we can do about it, and this is really bad and then we can theoretically make it up to you. But it's really fucking bad. So that's the thing that's making it tough, is like people are arguing over like what would be the easiest way to fix it, and that's making people angry. So I guess a big part of it is I didn't buy the product. I wasn't interested in it. Um, However, in my head, bro, I'll tell you right now, I I didn't think that you were getting a playset of each card. Like I was so checked out, I didn't read the article. You know, I didn't like actually pay attention to it. So if I thought I was getting 4 Walk the Dogs for $50, I would smell a fish immediately. Or how much is it? Is it $50 for the experience bundle? Yeah, that's true. It does seem like too good of a value. And I'm not saying people are like wrong for going, oh, this is 4 Walk the Dogs for criminally underpriced amount, you know? But I definitely would have been like, no shot they're actually doing this. The newsletter said it too. 40 plus tax. Yeah, so I guess 50 after tax and shipping. When I say address it, I do mean like explain how and why the mistake happened. You know, ideally they can blame some other company for putting the wrong amount in the box, however. But then you also are admitting you don't have like a product control manager, right? Just like you don't have a quality control manager on your articles. But there is a world where like another company messed them over and they can get you your 4 copies. They've taken too long to send other copies in the past. So it feels like the easiest thing to do is refund everybody. Which is just like, you know, a loss of sales on the entire fucking product and bombs the whole product. So I'm not sure. I will say if like Monday rolls around and nothing happens and or they say sorry there was a mistake in the article, you got fucked and lied to and there's nothing we're going to do to fix it. Yeah, it would all the goodwill would evaporate in a heartbeat. Are the Guilty Gear cards good? Vegas doesn't have them yet. I got a tracking notice for all the prize cards for all the webcam stuff I've been doing, all the prizing for that. And I got told that my stuff was shipping yesterday, but it hasn't showed up yet. So we'll see how long that'll take. Actually, will this open here? You can take a look at my tracking live. We're not even paying attention to this. This game was wacky though. Oh, my package is still in Texas, so whoop-de-doo, I guess. It's probably not gonna be here until like Tuesday. But yeah, no, the Guilty Gear stuff has been all high marks, all praise as far as I've heard. The little bit of playtesting I've been doing, you know, has been really sick. Potemkin's better than I thought. I'll say that. I'm enjoying playing Potemkin, probably still like casually more than I thought, but yeah. Oh, Chris Smith had you on. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so Guilty Gear is good. When I woke up and I read the stuff about the experience bundle, you know, I don't know. I don't know if you saw, I guess it was Kevin Broberg was like engaging with some people on it, and it was like, it was just like, well, it's Saturday. Complaining about it on the internet's not going to do anything about it today. Everybody knows that it sucks really, really hard. And you're gonna have to wait to see if they can fix it, you know. Like, I don't know. Like, it's normal to be mad though, so I also don't blame people. I always tell people to speak their truth, and the internet kind of is for complaining, but there's only so much you can do beyond like being the 5th guy, the 6th guy, the 7th guy, whatever number person to go, yeah, this fucking sucks. sucks. Doesn't this fucking suck? Man, how sucky is that? Wow, you think it sucks too? You know, like, I get it. Like, it sucks, man. It's really scary. It's scary, actually, how shitty it is. But Tuesday is the day that we break out. Monday or Tuesday, I guess. Oh, that the Houston Riftbound thing? Oh, ew. We'll see how that goes. I still haven't even fucking, like, demoed Riftbound, man. Nobody actually has good things to say about it. Everyone seems to just be, you know, following cash on an IP, which I don't blame them. I might do the same depending on how things go. But I haven't even demoed the game yet. It's just like, so there's nothing. I've not heard anything. Like, I remember when One Piece came out, and I was kind of eager to try it because Dawn sounded like a cool way to keep game flow interesting, you know, to keep things happening, to keep combat relevant, you know. But this has been nothing. Yeah, I haven't seen anything super duper interesting. I tried to watch gameplay of it, and the guy doing the commentary, all the comments were like, "Wow, dude, thanks for explaining everything. It was so informative." And I watched like 6 full minutes before I went like, "What the fuck is happening, dude?" They're like, they generate mana and then they basically tap it all to play a guy, and then like nothing moves, like nothing happens, you know, or like things move like very slowly. I don't know. But the game I watched, it looked like people were just like sitting on the same areas, like the same locations, and not like interacting with each other much. So I don't know. I didn't see anything in the 6 minutes I watched that looked like a combat step, you know? But yeah, I'll give it till Tuesday, I guess. But if they don't say something by Tuesday, you know, I still don't think me throwing in my pitchfork really like changes anything, but I certainly won't defend them. You know, I can't defend them on this. It's really bad. It's really, really, really fucking bad to announce it. And well, so I guess okay, I will say this. The one thing, the one thing that's monster shitty. Showdown lasts like 20 seconds. Oh yeah. Yeah, I imagine it's closer to like Yu-Gi-Oh combat, where it's like my number bigger than your number, Kaiba. Have I activated your trap card? No, then it's over. Activated effects are for pussy games, you know? Damn, dude, I've, I haven't been doing much commentary on this game because it's basically the same every turn. It's Christos plays 5 attacks, and Nate blocks all but one of them. Nate blocks the first, like, 3 or 4. Man's playing through Breaker. Nate's about to cycle game 1, and he's only dealt 7 damage. Another Breaker block? Bro. And he's gonna play another attack through it anyways? Holy moly, dude. This is, I think, the 4th attack played. And Nate's gonna DR it to 0. It dealt no damage. This is the 5th. This is what I was saying, dude. The whole game is Christos playing 5 attacks. Nate takes no damage from the first 4. And then that one finally deals. And he plays Grimace on an 8. When Nate has no cards in hand, dude. He played 6 attacks. Oh my god. It's so gross. Oh my. Even had to have double nitro. So you could bounce the nitro for +2 and remove one, or else that grimace doesn't pass. Insane sequence. A truly, truly insane sequence. Absolutely wild. I don't think either player sideboarded for this matchup either. I don't think their decks are either that big. I think they're just both double sleeved. But I could be wrong. Nate said his was 66. They look like they're about the same size. Nate the Walt with the patented 3 build going first. Can't can't pass can't pass the 4th one to save his life. Battle Arena? Oh shit. Battle Arena changes things a little bit here. It basically counts as building 2 foundations. It also lets Momo kind of get momentum in tricky scenarios where they want to add the attack that they dealt with back to their hand, but it's not going to deal damage again. For example, we've seen Christos bounce an attack back to his hand and then play a different attack a lot of the times, and he'll have that other attack saved for next turn. The attack he's playing instead might not deal damage, right? If you bounce a Nitro Ignition to your hand, but then you play a Grimace and your opponent blocks it, traditionally you would not get momentum. So Battle Arena does 2 cute things here. We've seen the powerful keyword come into play quite a bit. I would expect the EX keyword to matter more in this matchup, but I think there's only the one EX attack, and it's leading off here. We're going to get +2 to our next check from first day of class. Lots of +2s in here. So Battle Arena saved us on our first 3 check. Bringing it +2 to our next check here. Nate opting to burn health. No, he didn't. Okay, he sacrificed instead of burning. And then we're going to block. But we have +2 to our check. So we don't need to commit anything. We got the stun grenade coming in. We're going to stun one of these high value targets. I believe that's the foundation down there. Okay, well, we had 3 hits there, picking up the Impact Cyclone. Can't afford to check a 3 on it, so it's a good thing that we just milled 3 checks. Oh, but the breaker block. The breaker block is not going to matter because we have go for the win. Destroying a ready foundation, but building an additional one. And we got around the breaker. However, we checked a 3. So we would have checked a 4, but we would have had one less foundation. So we ended up in the exact same place we would have. Even if we didn't play around the breaker. Unfortunate. Because now we're not going to get the +2 speed from Ochako, which means it's going to be an easy block for Nate. However, it's a partial block, but Nate can afford to partial block because there's no... Oh, no, Ochako's ready. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Chat, why didn't you correct me? I thought we committed Ochako. Did he do it and then, like, he just mistakenly did it? What? Oh, no, it's on a 7. Yeah. Okay, he only has to commit the 4 foundations. I'm tripping. We do get to bounce with Ochako, which is incredible. Actually. Especially since there's still a breaker to play through. So we have effectively +1 to our check. I'm sorry, I thought... Oop. That's still going to fail because we checked the 3. We did not have 2 cards to commit, but now you see we've got the Impact Cyclone for next turn. It looks like I don't think we're going to take the Battle Arena momentum, which is rough because that's another card that Impact Cyclone could draw for us, right? So we saw the attack that dealt damage, went back to our hand. We tried to play a different attack, and this is exactly the use case where Battle Arena could give us a momentum, and this Cyclone that we're holding for next turn would then draw us an additional card if we choose to do that enhance, which kind of the main reason it's in the 5-hander deck, I'm pretty sure. But we're back to 3 foundations. We're just a ballerina reviewing the showdown, looking for the aggressive hands here. Turn to dust again. I've seen so much turn to dust now. More turn to dust than maybe the rest of all MHA CCG competitive I've seen. The EX hitting the board. Stun 2 is down. But Momo can play with committed foundations. There's Rising Starlet. It looked like we went for... Looks like we also went for a... Oh, maybe we released? And then I think we did Quick Create, and we did Forcing Surrender to not let him build it down. So potentially was going to Momo enhance, but did not. Now Momo enhance is going to be able to build down Rising Starlet, though, which will heal us 1 when it comes down. Got the once per turn to his second Rising Starlet. There's the -2 speed, build in a weapon, gain 1. Rising Starlet, after you build this card, gain 1 health. Very cool trigger. Design space they should bring back. All right, here comes Impact Cyclone on a 7. Gonna use our Battle Arena to help us out there. Still have Ochako ready. Does Nate have a 3rd high block? We did have to do the Ochako once per turn to go get 1, so you assume not. We get the partial off with the breaker, so once again we have +1 to our check. But Nate, I believe, has no cards in hand. So if we pass the Impact Cyclone by committing our character, we could send it for 9, which would not be enough. So holding it for next turn, not a bad idea. Remembering the Battle Arena momentum this time is a good thing, because we know we have that Impact Cyclone in hand. We're going to commit the Rising Starlet, go to Momo Enhance to build in the Rising Starlet, which puts Rising Starlet on top of our discard pile, which means we can quick create in the Rising Starlet, which means we can build the Rising Starlet, and we're going to gain health each time we build a Rising Starlet. Now we're going to commit these Rising Starlets to pass, or to get the stats on the Cannon Blast, because we're going to want to destroy those again later. They can once again be at the top of our discard pile. Big 11 damage poke. Partial blocked. Now a simple build out. Reviewing another. Okay, we couldn't block with the +3 block mod, unfortunately. A showdown block there would have been absolutely huge, man. A showdown block on that Cannon Blast not only would have saved us a decent chunk of health, but being able to commit those 2 releases probably help you out a whole lot. It would at least make Nate a lot more scared, even if he doesn't feel particularly threatened. Got the Breaker 1 always on deck. We're going to play through the Breaker 1, checking a 2, Battle Arena helping us out, so we only check 1 foundation. More Stun Grenade wheel spinning. Another mid block. This time, though, it's not a weapon card we can build. This mid block is going to stay in our card pool, except Christos didn't play 5 attacks for once. This is how Momo wins. The consistency is fizzled out. We're going to see a cycle here. Oh, I guess I skipped which cards got cycled. There we go. A Cannon Blast, only 3 attacks. Back Alley on a 5. Doesn't check the 5, doesn't have Student of the Art. Gonna do the kickflip again. Gonna destroy the release. We committed to rebuild the release. We call that a swag strat in the speedrun community. Didn't have a discard pile, so filling it up with a 0, absolutely immaculate play, honestly. Now that we have a few cards in the discard pile, we can build our 0 div. Give us a little bit more damage, and Christos is going to pack it up. We're going to go to a game 3. It's more of what you expect to see typically in this matchup. The Momo deck staying above, what, 20, 18? We got hit a couple times. We got a partial in there. But Nate sequencing properly, not letting that response go off, keeping the breaker block for the end, kind of as a truce, you know, saying, all right, you get +2, but I'm going to give you -1 for that partial. Now we're going to see for game 3. Again, the key for Ochako typically is just be aggressive early. The turn 2, Ochako maybe has the best turn 2s. Nomu's pretty close. I mean, Ojiro back in the day and Jiro definitely up there. But as far as, you know, decks where it's polarizing to go beyond that turn, because Jiro's really good late game too, and Ojiro's pretty fine mid to late game. His stats don't fall off quite as hard. Then he had superb deadlock. Speaking of that deadlock, there's snack time. I wonder if we'll see snack time come into play here. Christos destroys foundations almost as much as Momo does. That's been like the craziest part, is watching him like destroy stuff like at a, like, I don't know, a rate that you would not go for today. You know, Mikasa is out there doing really good right now. Imagine destroying 1 ready for 1 card. Ew. All right, early stun grenade, stunning things. We're going to flip some stuff. We got, was it tutoring Kirishima? Dude, did we hit double tutoring Kirishima? Look at this. Tutoring, bam, flip 1. Tutoring, bam, flip 1. Double flip and got the attack. So Nate's entire stage is face down, but he still had the breaker mid. We're going to check a 2. The battle arena bails us out. Ignition is a 5 high base. You can just take this one though. But Nate wants to build the quick creation. We're going to get the snack time in. Stun 1. 5 high for 4. We take this. We're going to replay this. Not the one you want to replay, so this is a pretty gnarly hand here. Chooses to take the momentum. Makes sense. Gets the battle arena momentum. Now, if we hit an impact cyclone, it's a draw 2. And Nate DeWalt with an absolutely greedy play here. Plays the Rising Starlet first. Checks a 3, commits 3, but Momo going to destroy 1 to build the Starlet. We're going to use the quick creation offensively here to get the 0 into our card pool and then build it down with the Rising Starlet. But we could have built with Back Alley, man. And then we're only going to build 1 foundation. Oh, no, never mind. Whoa, what's... I thought we ended our turn. Wait, how do we build another one here? Wait, what? This is what happens when you watch on 2 times speed. It's hard enough in regular speed. Wait, how did we... I thought I saw a 1 diff built. Yeah, okay. How did this one get built? Oh, it just happened so fast. Okay. Because I didn't see the bow staff. I saw the 1 diff come down. And I thought, okay, I thought that was the end of the turn. I blinked. And I just saw the foundation come down. But the bow staff happened to get that. Okay, okay. That makes more sense. So good recovery, but obviously if we had 2 more ready foundations, this would be a lot more imposing. And I feel like we didn't have to spend those resources necessarily to get that much ramp going. You know, I don't know. I guess we don't have a 0 in our discard pile still. But the back alley on a 5 just didn't feel good enough. I think Nate was trying to show off a little bit there. But now turn to dust. Look at that. It's cut our stage in half. It's slicing and dicing it up. It's ginsuing it. And the snacky time. Oh boy. Snack time. It is you can destroy a foundation committed by the stun ability. That can be any stun ability that's added to the card as well. Speaking of stun, here's stun grenade taking out the passing the torch. The pressure that Christos has been able to put on this board is phenomenal. But again, a lot of that might have been Nate's own doing. He got really aggressive there on turn 3. He really, really wanted to get that back alley poke in and try to keep that that life total at a very manageable amount. Feeling 33, not the easiest thing for Momo. But I think the build out strategy and do it late game is much better than trying to force it early. At the ready, get set, go to draw a card. All right, here's a back alley with nothing in front of it. Check the 4. We committed a 0. Looking for zeros to build. Gonna pop that. So we can theoretically we can build this with back alley. I think that's just the easiest way to do it. We can EX this to make this very unblockable, but we haven't seen the Ochako enhanced commit yet, so I'm pretty sure we're not actually intending to block this. Yeah, I believe that was a failed block fake review. Now we see Lost in Thought. High value is a good one here. A few destruction effects on death you might be afraid of. So we got Release, we got Passing the Torch, we got Lost in Thought, and a build turn. Oh, this is where Nate turns the corner. This is where Momo locks the game out. Puts a headlock on the game, puts it in brutal submission. You take a turn off against Momo, and he's gonna get to balloon his stage. Nate's gonna get to go way ahead in this. Yeah, discard, draw, add the Starlet in. Oh, it looks like you got Forcing surrendered out, but you got to play through those. Using the quick creates on offense. A little sketchy. Using the passing the torch here. Oh, it got Showdown. Never mind. Sorry, it got Showdown. Rising Starlet with Bow Staff. We get to build in the Bow Staff. Then Bow Staff's going to add something that's going to be built in with Rising Starlet. So you add 1 difficulty, but you're going to sack that foundation anyways. You're going to rebuild it. Then Bow Staff is going to plus you 1. And you get to gain a health for both of those Rising Starlets that you built. But again, look at our stage. We're committing so much to do this cute little gimmick. And if it doesn't end with a 10 damage move, we're just putting ourselves in a little bit of danger. We have a release committed, right? Look at all those committed foundations. If we had release, we could be effectively -4 speeding the first 2 moves. You know, we'd have to commit another one, I guess, but well, there's a commit for you. Turn to dust. Stun 2. Opting to destroy a foundation rather than burn the 2. Valuing the health total over the stage presence. Makes sense when you've got committed foundations to burn. Now the Impact Cyclone. This one's going to give us some card draw. Looking at our face down, seeing if we have any outwit abilities in the year 2023. We got to unflip something. Did we just really unflip a Layton skill? Oh, he flipped it by accident there while he was destroying stuff. That's such a dude. He's like, where'd my latent skill go? He had to ask the judge. All right, takes the 6. We're gonna bounce the Cyclone, man. Cyclone feels like I feel like this is the best attack to bounce in this deck because it's the highest card draw, potential, and it's got powerful. So if you bounce it, you should feel pretty confident in spending at least a momentum on it. He had 3 momentum, but I guess he wants to draw even more cards here. I think I would have made the last one lethal just to find out what's in my rival's hand, and then I could combo and then make this one lethal, right? And there's the handshake. Didn't have the high blocks. Built out mid, 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 mid. Oh, man. And then just the one Rising Starlet. So the release, not really a big deal, I guess, when we just didn't have the right block zones. Unfortunate. Man. That Impact Cyclone drew him so many cards throughout the game, right? Multiple Cyclones on multiple turns, replaying it. Drew his whole deck every game. Look at us popping off. Every single game, dude, Christos' deck was so thin. Every game. That's the consistency that this deck had. Nate's too. Both of them were doing the same idea, right? Like Stun Grenade was mill 3, add an attack to your hand if you hit one. And Wild Pussycats was mill 3, add a foundation to your hand, which obviously that one's probably going to hit a little more often, but for lower impact. And so I guess both these guys were also self-milling a lot to get to that point, but they were also drawing a lot of cards. And that's, that's the level of consistency this deck had. But man, I really feel like I just want to analyze a little bit because I really think that there was when he's at 11 here, I think it's either 2 or 3 momentum. But I'm pretty sure it's 3 on the second one here. And I think you could have made this lethal. And then if he blocks it completely, not only is that another card in the pool and he has to show his hand a bit more. But if it is 3 momentum here, I'm trying to see how many does he draw? Does he draw because he combos and then does he draw 3? 1, 2, 3. I guess it was only 2 on the first one. Okay, so I'm wrong. I am wrong. Maybe you spend 1 momentum here. Because if you only have 1 if he completely blocks and then you only have 1 momentum on the next one, it's not. You can't do lethal on a partial either. So that's a big part of it is making sure you have lethal on a partial. But pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. I definitely remember this when you see us bouncing around because that was pretty crazy. Also, I left a comment on this 2 years ago. Somebody asked, Game 3 finals, Christos plays Howitzer, checks a 3, commits no foundations. What happened? And it's because he used 2 copies of first day of class, so he checked the 7. But this is pretty good stuff. I enjoyed looking back at this. I remember a little bit about being there in person. I, of course, remember how hot and humid Orlando was. There's also an issue with the room that Levi and I were staying at, which was away from the venue. I like the hotel, the airport hotel being the venue type thing. The proximity for all this stuff makes it easier on me traveling, not having to Uber to and from the venue, and stuff like that is really nice when you're working the event. You wake up, you shower, get dressed, and then just go downstairs. Very cool. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want to see more streams like this, leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, this will be re-uploaded to YouTube. Leave a YouTube comment. Leave a note in the Discord if there's stuff you want to see. But we're gonna run out of official events pretty soon. I've already watched a lot of retro stuff. I can do it again, of course, but I've watched a lot of the retro stuff over the years on this channel. So we're gonna have to start watching other content creators gameplay if I keep doing React Andy stuff, but I don't think people really are in for that too much. But I definitely want to do a lot more streaming, a lot more video uploading leading up to Christmas time. So keep an eye out for that. I'll see you guys in the next one. There'll be another impromptu stream just whenever I have time. And if I don't see you on Twitch before then, I'll hopefully see you in Rochester. But peace out, everybody. I love you. Happy holidays.